My boyfriend's best friend faked a breakup to move in with us. Then I found them in our bed. Now they want forgiveness, but I've moved on. I, 28F, met my boyfriend Alex, 29M, during our freshman year of college. We were both part of the same orientation group and hit it off immediately. Alex was this laid-back, funny guy who could always make me laugh, even during the stress of those first few weeks away from home. We started dating about 3 months into our first semester. Alex had a close friend from high school named Barbara, 28F, who was also attending our college. I remember feeling a bit intimidated by her at first. She was gorgeous, outgoing, and seemed to have this effortless cool about her. But Barbara quickly put me at ease with her warmth and humor. The three of us became inseparable, spending most of our free time together. Barbara and I bonded over our shared love of true crime podcasts and reality TV shows. We'd often have girls' nights where we'd binge watch The Bachelor and discuss our theories. Alex would good-naturedly roll his eyes at our obsession, but was happy we got along so well. I come from a pretty small, close-knit family. Just me, my parents, and my older sister. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, but we always had each other. My parents worked hard to give us a good life, and they instilled in us the importance of loyalty and honesty. When I introduced Alex and Barbara to my family, they were immediately welcomed with open arms. Alex's family situation was a bit more complicated. His parents had a messy divorce when he was in middle school, and there was still a lot of tension between them. He was closer to his mom, but struggled with feeling caught in the middle. I think that's part of why he valued his friendship with Barbara so much. Her family had been a second home to him during those tough years. Barbara came from a wealthy background with parents who traveled a lot for work. She spent a lot of time at Alex's house growing up, which is how they became so close. I remember feeling a twinge of jealousy sometimes at their inside jokes and shared history, but I always pushed it aside. After all, Barbara had become one of my best friends too. Over the years, our friendship deepened. Barbara was there for me when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer during our junior year. She'd bring me coffee and notes from the classes I missed while visiting my mom in the hospital. She even organized a fundraiser to help with medical bills, which touched my family deeply. When Alex and I had our first big fight and briefly broke up senior year, Barbara listened to me cry for hours and helped us work things out. She never took sides, always encouraging us to communicate and remember why we fell in love in the first place. After graduation, the three of us decided to move to the same city to start our careers. Alex and I got an apartment together while Barbara lived nearby. We'd have weekly dinners together, and Barbara was a constant presence in our lives. I truly considered her one of my best friends. About 6 months ago, Barbara started dating a guy named Ethan, 31M. He seemed nice enough the few times we met him, but Barbara was oddly secretive about their relationship. She'd dodge questions and change the subject whenever we asked about Ethan. Alex and I found it a bit strange, but figured she'd open up when she was ready. Looking back, I wonder if this was when things started to change. Barbara began canceling plans more often, always with vague. To move forward, I'm completely lost and don't know where to go from here. Update 1. It's been about a month since I discovered Alex and Barbara's betrayal. A lot has happened, so I wanted to give an update. First, I want to thank everyone for the supportive comments on my original post. Reading them helped me feel less alone during those first awful days. After a week of avoiding their calls and messages, I finally agreed to meet Alex at a neutral coffee shop to talk. I brought my sister along for moral support. Alex looked terrible. Clearly, he hadn't been sleeping well. He immediately launched into apologies, saying it was a huge mistake and begging for another chance. I asked how long it had been going on. Alex swore it was only that one time, that Barbara had been upset about her breakup and things just happened. I didn't buy it for a second. The easy familiarity I witnessed that night spoke to something that had been building for a while. I told Alex I wanted the full truth, or I was walking away for good. He broke down and admitted they'd been having an emotional affair for months. It turned physical about 2 weeks before I caught them. The whole Ethan breakup story was a lie so Barbara could move in with us. Hearing the extent of their deception made me physically ill. I got up and left without another word, ignoring Alex's pleas to stay and talk more. A few days later, I met with Barbara. She tried to apologize, but I cut her off. I told her our friendship was over and I never wanted to see or speak to her again. She started crying, saying she never meant to hurt me. I just laughed bitterly and walked away. I've spent the last few weeks slowly putting my life back together. I found a small studio apartment and moved the rest of my things out while Alex was at work. I left my key and a note saying I'd have my lawyer contact him about breaking the lease. Going through our shared possessions was torture. Every photo, every little memento held memories that were now tainted. I found the friendship bracelets we made during that beach trip last summer. I ended up burning them in a small ceremony of letting go. I've thrown myself into work, picking up extra projects to keep busy. My boss has been understanding, giving me flexibility to deal with everything. My sister and a few close friends have been amazing, checking in on me and making sure I eat. The hardest part has been the loneliness. Alex and Barbara were such huge parts of my life for so long. I keep catching myself wanting to text Barbara about some silly thing that happened at work, or cuddle up with Alex after a long day. Then I remember, and the pain hits all over again. I've started seeing a therapist to work through everything. It's helping, but I know healing will be a long process. I'm trying to focus on rediscovering who I am outside of that relationship. I've joined a local book club and signed up for a pottery class. Things I've always wanted to try but never made time for before. Alex is still trying to contact me, sending long emails about how sorry he is and how much he misses me. I haven't responded. Barbara seems to have finally gotten the message and stopped reaching out. Last week, I ran into Barbara's mom at the grocery store. It was incredibly awkward. She didn't seem to know what had happened and kept asking when we were all getting together again. I mumbled some excuse and quickly left, fighting back tears the whole way home. I'm taking things one day at a time. Some days are better than others. I know eventually I'll be okay, but right now it still hurts like hell. Thank you all again for your support. It truly means more than you know. Update 2. It's been about 3 months since my last update, and 6 months total since D-Day. I wanted to give one final update on the situation. The past few months have been a roller coaster of emotions, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. The therapy has been incredibly helpful in processing everything and working through my trust issues. I've settled into my new apartment and I'm actually enjoying having my own space. I've redecorated in a style that's purely me, without having to compromise with anyone else's tastes. It's become a peaceful sanctuary. Work has been going well. I threw myself into some big projects and it paid off. I recently got a promotion I've been working towards for a while. The sense of accomplishment has been a much-needed boost to my self-esteem. I've been spending a lot of time with my sister and reconnecting with old friends I'd lost touch with. It's been nice to rebuild my support system outside of Alex and Barbara. I'm also still doing the pottery class and have discovered I actually have a knack for it. It's become a soothing creative outlet. As for Alex and Barbara, I've maintained no contact with both of them. Alex eventually stopped trying to reach out after I had my lawyer send a cease and desist letter. I heard through mutual friends that he and Barbara are officially together now. It stung at first, but honestly, I just feel pity for them. I ran into Barbara at the grocery store last week. It was awkward and tense. She tried to start a conversation, but I just nodded politely and walked away. Seeing her brought up some anger I thought I'd worked through, but overall I felt nothing. She's become a stranger to me now. I'm not dating yet, but I'm open to the possibility when the right person comes along. For now, I'm focused on continuing to heal and grow as an individual. I'm rediscovering old passions and exploring new ones. Last month, I took a solo trip to the beach where we had that friendship anniversary trip last year. It was hard being there at first, surrounded by memories. But as the week went on, I found myself creating new positive associations with the place. I tried surfing for the first time, spent hours reading on the sand, and had a great conversation with an older couple who've been married for 50 years. It felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I've also been volunteering at a local animal shelter. It's been incredibly rewarding and has helped me feel connected to something bigger than myself. There's this one dog, a scruffy mutt named Max, who I've really bonded with. I'm seriously considering adopting him. My relationship with my family has grown even stronger through all of this. My mom is now cancer-free, and we've been spending a lot of quality time together. She's been teaching me how to cook some of our old family recipes, something I never had the patience for before. Looking back, I can see now that there were red flags I ignored. But I refuse to blame myself for trusting the two people closest to me. Their choices are on them, not me. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I've learned a lot about my own strength and resilience. I'm proud of how far I've come and excited for what the future holds. Thank you all again for your support throughout this journey. Your kind words and advice have truly been a lifeline during the darkest moments.